creators, welcome back to the club. The Black Creators Club is your go-to resource for all the Black movers and shakers in Hollywood, reaction to the latest pop culture tea, and of course, our own entertainment pursuits. I'm your host, Ebony Chapman, and I'm here with my fellow media maven, Akilah Frangirl. How are you?
Girl, I'm feeling better than that Kevin Hart Special, child.
Oh, okay, and we're gonna get all into that, okay? Today, you guys, we have a jam-packed show. We're gonna be giving you our 2 cents on the Kevin Hart Special, Netflix acquiring all the Black content, honey. The new music that you need to keep your ear attuned for. And we have, of course, recommendations that you guys need to be ready for the Jolly Holly season of Christmas. So let's get right into it. Akilah, let's talk about this recap of last week. We had the versus battle and we had the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Oh, yeah.
How did you think the versus battle went?
Oh my gosh. First of all, let's recap the fact that we watched kind of the versus battle together. We tried to watch the whole thing because we're so used to the versus battles being like 2 hours plus long. So Ebony texted me and was like, girl, are you watching it? Because we talked about it the last episode that we're going to watch it and everything. And we started doing it.
They were already 1 hour late.
They were an hour late. They were an hour late to appear. And then the actual battle, I think, was like an hour or so long. So by the time you came over, we got probably the
10, 20 minutes. Right.
10, 20 minutes left. But we each at least watched it separately and we're ready to discuss, ready to do everything. And I thought, I mean, overall, the battle was great. It was something that the Southern hip hop fans really, I think overall the culture, like it was great energy. I went in with the bias of Jeezy winning, and I think that bias was fulfilled. Like, how did you think it went?
You know what? This is my thing. Now, I'm over here all super naive because I had no idea the beef that was behind the scenes of this battle.
Yes.
And we had, Gucci Mane, Jeezy tried to jump Gucci Mane's crew, and then Gucci Mane went ahead and killed on it. Jeezy's friends. Girl, I had no clue. So I learned about all this on the Versus now. So there was that.
Who said Versus couldn't be educational, a learning moment?
Somebody, come through somebody.
Yes.
So I was learning a lot. However, I texted Akilah and was like, you know what? I really think Jeezy won, but I think he's more of like a lyricist, and I think he's more for the people. I think Gucci Mane is more pop, mainstream, has the hits. You know what I'm saying? Because now during the battle, there was a lot of things going on and like music that I was like, now see, Jeezy came with the lyrics, but I don't know this song, and Gucci Mane, I was like, oh, because he was like, play from this century, basically. He was coming at him so hard. Gucci Mane was coming at Jeezy so hard.
The tension was thick, and you can tell, like, I mean, obviously coronavirus, you were separated and everything, but I think regardless, they would have had them two on separate sides of the stage in a way that you can't really easily cross over anyway, because anything could have happened. I think one of my friends said it best, like, Jeezy came to do the battle, like he came to really like drop the songs, all of that. Gucci came to kind of let him know, like, I don't forgive you for what you did. I would go let bygones be bygones at the end, but I want you to know that I really recognize that you tried, allegedly, we'll say allegedly, you tried to have your partners kill me. Like, and I can't take that sitting down. So for him to play the diss record that he did, to shout out his Pookie Lock, it was who ended up dying, like a bunch of different things to showcase, like, yeah, we could do this rap stuff, but really this is beyond it. And I think that's what the people heard. And I feel like at the end of the day, it made it easier for Jeezy to win just based off songs. But I feel like it was definitely a moment that we all had to see to say, like, all right, let's kill this rap beef once and for all.
According to Joe Budden's podcast and Joe Budden TV on YouTube, apparently T.I. was supposed to be battling Jeezy, and Gucci Mane was kind of the last minute addition type situation. Like, it was kind of like, oh, well, we need a replacement, so Gucci Mane, here it is type thing. So I feel like that's also an interesting factor to jump in there. But you know what? Aside from all the beef and all the craziness, Jeezy this was very smart of him. This is how you do a versus battle. He dropped his new album.
Yes. Gucci dropped, I think, a mixtape too. So both of them were ready to capitalize on that awareness. But Jeezy definitely, he dropped a new album. After that, I think he has a new show coming out on Black Effect Network with Charlemagne. So that's another new thing. So he's got a lot of pots stewing over there in the kitchen.
That's why he was like, we'll take
out.
this little battle and be over it, because I got so many other things to be doing right now. And this is just to help me promote what it is that I have going on. And so anyways, I love, and they played, after the battle was over on Apple TV, they played Jeezy's new music video with Jeannie, his fiance. And I was telling, Akila, I was like, she's loving all of this. Like this,
loving
she's not really about that life, but like she's play about that life. You know what I'm saying? Like she likes the,
she's about the hip hop of that life. Right.
Yeah. Like she likes the hip hop element that Jeezy brings to her life. I think Jeannie, but you know what? Jeannie, pre-Jesus Jeannie, as she likes to call it, was a little wild. So I don't know. I don't know, girl.
Okay, all right. Who knows?
She was a little wild. She was telling stories on the real. She was a little wild. But let's talk about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reunion. Okay, girl, how did you feel like that went? We watched it together. How did you like it?
I loved it. I mean, I love the Fresh Prince. Goes down to one of the best sitcoms ever. Definitely like one of the best sitcoms to start like growing up to, in a sense. I wasn't born when we were both laughing, like we weren't born when it first, like the premiere came out, the premiere episode, I think in 1990. But at the same time, I feel like it's one of those sitcoms that really stands the test of time. It's so great. And it just kind of re-emphasizes why this whole remake that they're doing is like, people are going to watch it and people are excited for it. But the reunion itself, I think it was cute. Like I cried at different moments. I laughed. I was with them. Like, particularly we can't talk about the Fresh Prince reunion without talking about the fact that the original Aunt Viv and Will Smith sat down together and had that moment that I think she needed. And I'm so glad she was able to really speak her piece, because now we're like a different environment. Like I think now people are more conscious to the fact, like, no, like dark-skinned Black women may have a little harder in Hollywood. The fact that, probably we shouldn't take, what's being said in the media as it is what it is. But at that time, I can only imagine when you're not able to speak your own piece through social media, do that and that, like how hard.
Well, I mean, they were kind of using like the media in like the newspapers and all that. And they were kind of, they mentioned the fact that they were bashing each other. It was like
each other. Yeah.
A tit for tat type of situation. For me personally, I like the original Aunt Viv better. That's not
really.
There's no tea, but or no shade, no tea. But I personally would have also liked to see more of Janet in the special. I think we got a little bit of that interview with her and Will, or like that conversation, which for me, it didn't shed any extra light on anything. Like it did, but it didn't go that deep. I would have liked for it to go a little deeper. And I also would have liked to see her have a conversation with the entire cast, for them to have a moment all together, not just like, oh, hey, we're taking photos and like, this is fun. I would like to have seen the sit down conversation between like all of them. And I get it, because it wasn't necessarily about like, maybe if they would have done that, it would have made it more about like the Aunt Viv beef and not the show reunion. But I feel like there could have been a way to maneuver that with like the questions you ask, and like, how was your experience?
At the very least, just having her totally, or at the very least, just having her in the room, because it's like if we, and I just know them by their character's name, but like, for instance, Jeffrey, the butler, like he wasn't necessarily speaking or having this prominent like reactions to a lot of the moments, but he was in the room. And I'm like, why, if the beef is really settled, I understand like they had to have that private moment. I think it was very important for both of the sides to have that. But if it's really over and it's really a part of it, she's really a part of the entire success of the show, I think she should have been in the room the entire time. And it didn't. And I think that would have really helped to not make it where we needed a full on, like all the cast members talking to her and that be a full on moment. But just have her in the room and just say, hey, that's a signal to everyone else to say we're over it. So I totally agree with you there. I don't think it went really deep. I remember seeing some memes like, they're saying like Will had that same face like how he had in the Red Table Talk when Jada was chatting about entanglements.
The entanglements, girl.
The entanglements. So it's like the same sort of like, all right, we're gonna like play pensive here, but I'm thinking in my head like, okay, this is whenever this is wrapped up. I think it was a genuine moment though, but I'm just saying that was another side of folks who felt like, but you know what? Maybe it wasn't.
And I think that like their conversation was honest, and I feel like I see both sides. I feel like the whole thing could have been squashed, obviously 30 years ago, if they would have just had a conversation. You know what I'm saying? And I get where, Janet's feeling like, I don't know who to trust, and you're pinning yourself against me, and like I just don't know where to go. But at the end of the day, it's like you also are the adult in the situation, but I also get it. You're also pinpoint, like you're kind of backed into a corner with the network, right? So it's like you almost didn't have a place to go. They said they gave her a contract of like you work 2.5 months and then you can't work anywhere else. She was kind of like, yo, I can't take that deal. So she didn't. And then she ended up getting ostracized either way. So that kind of sucks. And I get his point of view being 21 and kind of feeling
he's like a kid, right?
But I mean, he's a kid, but a kid with money, someone who also is like a star rapper at the time in the 90s and has this like hit sitcom show that's fire and everyone's like giving you so much accolades. At some point, you're kind of like, you do feel yourself. And I think that you have an ego and he had an ego and he was allowing all of the noise and chatter to fuel it, and so he wasn't able to like cut through it. And obviously no one else around him on the team or anyone else was like, yo, chill, you should talk to her, let me be the mediator in between this. They were kind of like, nah, she tripping, I don't want her, let's just get somebody else in here, you know what I'm saying? So I get both sides. I also think,
and I thought it was even more interesting how she the you know, I don't know, not the replacement Aunt Viv, but the new Aunt Viv, how she was originally casted for that role too. You remember she mentioned that. Right. So it almost seems like if I was the original Aunt Viv, I feel like this was in your back pocket the entire time, like, you know, to go after this other person. And probably that was like a maneuver of them, knowing that she wouldn't take the deal, will give them an out, and then just be able to say, okay, we have someone else anyway for this who we kind of wanted to begin with. So everything about that, I don't know. It reveals some of the shadiness of the business, but also just, you know,
but at the end of the day, it's just that
there's so much more. There's so much more.
But it's just that it's a business, you know, at the end of the day. So as a network, as a company, as you want to do whatever you can to like make that money, make that dollar, and that's what it is.
And that's what happened. But the show itself was great.
Right. And I still love the show, and the reunion was great. And, you know, we appreciate for them for even doing that. They gave great accolades to the show and to James Avery. And, you know, I enjoyed it. It was definitely a tearjerker. It was so nice to see all of them together, older, but still looking the same. I mean,
looking amazing.
Right. Everyone looks beautiful. But let's move on to the Kevin Hart special that is on Netflix. Listen, now, I don't know about you, Akila. We both watched it, and it's got mixed reviews. How are you feeling about it?
It did get mixed reviews, and I completely understand why. I feel like this was a special. I love Kevin Hart. Let's preface with that. Like, I love it, and I'm here for his success. But at the same time, you can tell like that this was a special from the mindset of like his new life. Like, it's just what it is. He can't keep talking about the same stuff that he was talking about when he was, you know, at Foot Locker doing his stuff in Philly, just trying to come up, that same sort of hustle or same sort of grind, because that's not his point of view anymore. And so with that, I think it also becomes less funny because it's a little less relatable. It's a little less just like, it's less of a funny situation overall. And if you're gonna still talk about your life, because there's a lot of successful, rich, whatever, famous comedians who choose to talk about experiences or life situations, compare it to like Dave Chappelle, for instance, how he did in his latest stand-up special. It's hilarious. It's a different take. And Kevin, who's come up on talking about his life and funny experiences and things of that nature, it's just not the same. And so I feel kind of bad. You know, I actually feel kind of bad to say like it's not as funny.
You know what's but you know what's really interesting? I do feel like the topic and like maybe what you were saying is that it's not really that relatable, right? Because he talked about a lot of things about like his kids going to like a private school, or you know, and maybe people can't really relate to that. Like maybe and on top of that, it's like you're in his 40s now, he's married, he has like, you know, 3 kids and 1 on the way, or it's born now, right? Now so 4 kids, and your life is so different. So like us as a millennial crowd, or people who are like, you know, maybe no one's at that stage, like those people, us talking about this, we're not at that stage. So it's like you said, it's not relatable as in the other stuff at like Laugh at My Pain. He's talking about his life. He's done 6 comedy specials on Netflix. So it's like, we already know so much about Kevin Hart at this point. And maybe it's like, are people just tired of hearing his voice or tired of hearing the way he tells jokes, because they are in that same cadence? I don't know what it is, but I'm going to tell you this. My opinion, when I first started watching it, I was like, dang, that's a nice house, because they shot it in his house. And
yes.
And then when they go inside this other room, I was like, are they shooting this in his house? Like, where are they? They had a whole stage. And I also was like, who are these people in the audience and how do we get an invite? Because what the heck?
Right. Who do they pass that along to?
I think, who are these people?
What happened there? I don't know if it's people from the staff. I don't know if it's whatever it is, but I think it's like one of those situations where I think it was also showing, I think, not funny, but because I think he's amazing storytelling. Like, and I think that's what it was fun for me. It was fun to listen to. It was fun to watch. I loved his stories. It wasn't necessarily funny. And I think the reason is because I also kind of got a sense, trying to put my little fake psychologist hat on. I got a sense that he was so nervous about the backlash, so nervous about what happens in celebrities is that you get picked and prodded and etc. The fact that he mentioned
getting canceled so many times.
Exactly. The idea of getting canceled so many times. He took note of, you probably took note also about the fact that he talked about just the idea of being a celebrity, the idea of,
like now he's paranoid.
He said a line. He said, now he's paranoid, but he said a line before that kind of got me to just like think, like in the sense that fame is the thing that everyone wants. And it's not. But the fact that he considered it the thing that everyone wants, and now he has it, and then everyone kind of fucked it up for him in a sense. Like that whole phrase that got me thinking, like, he's really, and it may come across as egotistical, it may come across as like, a little boastful, whatever else, but I don't think it's any of the above. I think it's more so he's so in tune with the idea of like, now he's a celebrity, now he's famous, now he's got all this stuff, and now he's worried. He's worried all the time. And I think that's what showcased, and even in his jokes, how he would stop a joke and be like, you know what, I think that was kind of racist. Like, don't, people want to have the picket signs afterwards, say this and that. I feel like that's just kind of and the fact that he came up on talking about his life and his jokes, he couldn't help but see that kind of, not sensitivity, but almost insecurity that happens when you're that looked at. And you're nervous that everything you do might be a thing.
Might be a thing. And I think, because he even did a joke about like, people with the one arm holding up like picket signs trying to cancel them, and that they couldn't hold it up long enough.
Exactly.
Because their arms would get tired, right? And he was like, well, you know what? Maybe we'll just take that part out. So I think when we talked about cancel culture in our 8th episode, we are on 16 right now. Okay, we're halfway through.
You better know. You have the log lines of what we talked about.
Okay, listen. So if you haven't heard about the cancel culture, I mean, that was literally one of the questions. Like, do we think that people become too sensitive as artists, worried about not wanting to be canceled? And I feel like Kevin Hart was a great example of, they are very conscious of what it is that they're saying and doing because they don't want to get canceled. But I felt like overall it was funny. I think I had some moments where I was definitely laughing out loud when he was talking about the bop, right? The brick oven pizza moment. When he was talking about, his daughter dating and liking boys, and he was like, that she was like liking a guy this week, liking someone else next week, liking someone else the other week. And he was like, this is whole behavior. What the hell is going on? And the other thing was, what was the thing that the buttered popcorn joke with like,
what is
the butter beat off?
Butter beat off or something?
The butter beat off. I was like, but okay.
Which I remember seeing in an actual show too.
I don't know what that is. I still don't know what that is. You know what that is?
It's been not personal experience. Let's have that disclaimer. Personal experience.
Well, maybe it's something we need to try. If it's out there, maybe we need to try this. I don't know. Maybe we need to try this.
These theaters shut down. They'll be happy to have anybody inside. Be like, all right, whatever you want to do, just
beat a butt off. How you want to ever get
you buying the large. Okay, great. You just
buy that large popcorn, honey. Right. Okay.
Literally.
Oh my God. I'm so weak. But it's really funny to me how Netflix continues to fund a lot of Black content, especially as of lately. And what we've seen even this past summer was the fact that they bought one-on-one, half and half, which is one of my faves. I know no one's talking about half and half, but I love me some half and half.
They were too into Moesha.
Girlfriends, right? And so they just continue, they bought all of this content. And I think it's definitely in lieu of, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that's going on right now. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely plays a part. That definitely plays a part when it comes to not even just Netflix, but everywhere else. But I'll give Netflix particularly a little more credit because they've had strong Black lead, the Instagram or their social pages out for a while now and trying to build that brand. So they've seen that as an important piece. And this is probably just another level of their strategy now. But, you know, whereas others may have just been starting to scramble, like, oh my God, like, this is something we need to have more content.
That makes a good point. That makes a good point. That at least they have been around a platform that they do find and see it as of importance, that they give it its own, you know, page and podcast and whatever else.
Yeah.
As for other networks maybe are just kind of hopping on the bandwagon.
Maybe now they're trying to figure it out. But I also think it's an effect of why we always stress the idea of hiring diverse folks. Because I know there's a lot of folks, particularly at Netflix, who work in what they call content acquisition. So the folks who go out and buy these content or seek this content, who are Black and who are actually on that team, who went out and, you know, decided to say, actually, Moesha is something we should buy. One-on-one is something we should buy. And then obviously people seeing the effects are more inclined to be like, okay, actually, let's listen to them a little bit more. So I think it's a mixed bag.
I also want to give credit too to like these companies because I feel like sometimes it's just timing, meaning we may be seeing it right now, but obviously these deals didn't happen yesterday. There are things that have been in the works for years or a couple of years at a time, and how they acquire acquisitions. You know, they have a contract and you acquire that content for X amount of years or time that you're paying for it. And so, but those deals happen years ago, a year or two ago. So now it's just the fact that it's just the timing of it all might sound or look a certain perceived a certain way, but you know, maybe they've been on the,
and like, you know, we're seeing the effects. Exactly. No one could have perceived this pandemic happening, but it's just like now people are probably also seeking out a lot more of these content and then discovering, oh, actually Amazon does have this stuff on that's related to Black folks. Actually, HBO Max has a lot of stuff related to Black culture. Like, obviously Netflix, again, they're doing such a great job with just showing us like, hey, we have this coming out, we have that coming out. But you know, I listen, no complaints. Come out with all the melanated content. We're ready to view it all.
Honey, we are the content and creation of Hollywood, period. We are the culture starters, seekers, and trendsetters, my love. So I'm all here for all the Black content. In fact,
bring it all. Bring it out.
Bring it out. Bring it out. Even in July, you know, Disney Plus dropped Black is King with Beyonce. And, you know, since obviously we started this podcast in August, we did not get to talk about this. So I thought this would be a great thing to bring up right now. But Black is King, I have to say, it was so Black. I mean, obviously the title speaks for itself. But it was so culture heavy in African culture and Black culture, the colors, the music, the beats, the dance steps. You know, obviously even that Lion King album was obviously for the Lion King, and so it was definitely African based and all of that, and Beyonce did a great job doing all of those things.
I'm just incorporating a lot of these artists too.
Totally. And I'm really happy with now, and the thing is, I kind of at first I was like, wait, that's so weird to be on Disney Plus, but then I was like, okay, Lion King, Disney Plus, duh, that makes sense. The album, it was probably was like an exclusive deal, so that's probably why it even also dropped on Disney Plus. But I like the fact that you could tell that maybe Disney kind of took a step back, meaning like it wasn't super whitewashed or anything looking crazy. You get what I'm saying? Like they let her have complete creative control in that.
Yeah, I think even down to, let's say, the artwork, like what was even permitted to showcase that Black is King is something that we should use. Like, you know, are we highlighting Beyonce? Are we highlighting the title? And making sure that the name itself, the title, like, you know, what the content is, really spoke for itself, and you had to click and you had to, you know, indulge in it too. And I think, yeah, it's kind of what you said. It's, who knows? We don't know the backstory of these deals to say if this was the reason, if it specifically has to deal with Lion King. But at the same time, it also has to deal with the fact that Disney Plus recently came out. And so they were probably also more open at that. They were more open to seeing, okay, what kind of content is out there? What kind of things can we get involved with? They didn't know that there's subscribers would be as high as it was, through the roof, when it came to this kind of content. So they were looking for things that would bring folks in. And I think it was, again, just right moment, right time, right content. And I hope, the only hope is that these kind of things prove that actually Black content is valuable. If not equal, then more so than a lot of these other content that we have been, not forced, but we have been so accustomed to seeing, because, it could bring equal or more so viewership. And anything attached to Beyonce is like, it's definitely an outlier. But I mean, totally. Black is King overall it was amazing. It was amazing. So
I don't know how you felt after watching
for more
it,
things like that.
But like after I watched it, I felt so like just inspired and just I felt like I'm doing my little like shoulder dance.
It was an experience. It just made you really like everything.
I needed all the outfits. I needed all everything. The scenery. I needed all the looks, the hair, the grills, the everything. Like she gave it to us. Like the outfits for me. It was the outfits for me. It was the outfits.
Listen, the visuals, period. Everything was incredible. Black is King. That's how I felt afterwards. I was like, okay, say less.
When you get back, honey, from your vacation, boo boo boo, we are gonna watch Black is King together, because I feel like we need.
Come on, I'm right. Listen, that's exactly how we need to start the new year. Literally, Black is King, and then just on into 2021. Like, all right,
we're making our retreat, and that's the first thing we're watching on our retreat.
On the agenda.
Girl, please tell us what else is on this agenda, girl, and tell us why people need to continue to amplify the Black
problem. Guys, we work so hard to do this show, the Black Creators Club. If you don't know where you're at, I suggest you get in tune with it. The best way you can repay us, get into it, is to just share the show with a friend, subscribe to our YouTube page, listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify Podcasts, and just comment on the show. You can rate the show, you can like it. It goes such a long way. And also you can reach out to us at the blackcreatorsclub@gmail.com, and we'll read fan shout outs on the air. So if you have anything to say, you have a question for us, you want to highlight a show that you love, feel free to just reach out to us. We don't bite. Also, if you have questions or even cool news items we may have missed, happy to learn of that too. Again, everything is at the Black Creators Club, and our email again is theblackcreatorsclub@gmail.com. Hope to hear from you soon.
Okay, please, child. We want to hear it all. Okay, we are interested in it all. We want to hear it all. We want you to follow us. If there's cool artists or people that want to be featured on the Black Creators Club, boo boo boo, boo boo boo. We are your podcast. But let's get into our Maven to Maven check-in. Akilah, girl, how are you this week? How have you been doing, my love?
Girl, this week. I feel like the week before any major quote unquote shutdown or any major like holiday is like hell week. It's kind of started last week. It's kind of trickling into this week. But the ones I'll talk about, one is just getting your mind right, getting your space together. Like that's been a big thing for me. Ebony alluded to the fact that I'll be going home for the holidays, originally from New York. You're just tuning in. So I'm heading back east for the holidays. And so before that, I'm like, let me get my space in order. I don't want to come back. I don't know about, some people don't care, but I would hate to come back to like anything out of place, anything feeling like weird. I'm like not into that at all, especially like, coming back to a new year. I don't know if you follow that tradition of like, okay, all your clothes have to be clean, like things of that nature. Bed has to be all that kind of stuff. So I'm preparing in November for that kind of stuff to happen. So clearing everything, getting that together is top priority outside of work. And then the other thing I wanted to highlight is this new app. I actually haven't told you about this yet, but there's a new app out there, new-ish, called Clubhouse. And it's really cool. It's like this pretty much an audio chat. Someone described it and I'm like, it's probably the best description that I've heard so far. It's like if Soho House had an app. So it's kind of like you are dialing in with other folks, other creatives, or other just people in general. It's not necessarily only creatives, but it's like, unfortunately, and only. So we're gonna work on that for you. But it's like a situation where we don't work on that. It's like you have different clubs and you just kind of dial into folks and like hear different people talking about different things. And so it's fun to just like, for me at least, to kind of just hear what folks are talking about. What's the discussion on? We chatted about, again, like something else that we want to talk about too, like Meg Thee Stallion, her new album, or even randomness about like, oh, are people tired of hearing about, you know, Beyonce, whatever you want to say, like, and people just talk about that. It's literally like Twitter, but via audio and via chatting. I even just sat in one time and just like, this DJ was spinning music and I would just, you know, listen to music in the background while I'm doing my own thing. I'm like, I like how new apps are coming around, or new ways to like get everyone together or feel involved. And I don't know what the beginning premise was there, but obviously, you know how it goes. Once Black people get involved, it becomes more of a like lit, cool thing. So I don't think it originally was for Black folks, but yeah. So I mean, doing that, exploring the new app, cleaning my place. I think the other thing really is just like, again, something we were talking about is just the idea of, you know, a lot of different things that you may be doing and how to redefine your focus, how to like settle everything in. Like, what is considered a good use of your time versus a bad use of your time when you're quote unquote still on the grind, still making it. So you're not necessarily there or where you want to be at. So would getting rid of this or that thing stop you from getting to where you want to be, or heighten that focus? So I'm kind of in that in between where I'm hoping to use the rest of this year. Yeah, hoping to use the rest of this year to kind of just funnel in and really do some deep thought about how do I best use my time, not only in career, but also with like relationships, with friends, like what is the best use of my time?
My gosh,
because honestly, I can't do it all.
The best use of your time, I feel like, would be to obviously figure that out. And for me, I am on the same page with you. We were obviously just talking about this before we started recording. And I have to say, like, you know, with us having our little lovely podcast here and then having our own outside side hustles and passion projects on top of work, it's like, okay, you get stretched thin. And I was saying, like, it's hard to really focus on one thing or the other, right? Like Akila was also getting on me about like, girl, did you DM people? Were you doing this? Are you making noise for the podcast? And I was like, I don't know. I posted twice and then I had to post on my own social and then I did an interview and then I had to do blah. And so it was like, oh my gosh, you know, you can't give 100% of yourself to one project when you have 2 or 3 other things going on. And so it's like, if you're giving yourself like 50% on one thing, are you really executing it the best way you possibly can? And so I feel like, as you know, young millennial entrepreneurs ourselves trying to figure out our entertainment pursuits over here, it is, you know, just know, anyone listening, like, you know, you're not alone. Like, we may look and seem like we have something semi together, and it is a struggle every single day and every single week to just,
it's a struggle every single day
to like even keep balance. So for my week, I would say that is always, that's not just this week, it's a constant with me. So I'm like, that is just always a thing for me, just trying to keep balance. Nothing else I don't feel like exciting really happened this week. I would
say you did some cool things. We're gonna talk about it.
I went out I did go out this weekend. My friend owns is like part of a co-owner of a record label called Chosen Family Records. And one of their artists, Khalil Simflis, had an EP release party. And so I went to that. And that was really exciting. I'm so proud of him. He's been doing great things. In fact, I was featured in the Dreams music video. So if you want to go check that out on YouTube, you can do that. See your girl up in the music video, video vixen all day.
All right.
Okay. Was there anything? Oh, I went on a hike to Malibu Hikes. There was like a Malibu hiking wine tour, which at first I was like, we're hiking and drinking wine. How does that work? Does that make sense? Does it go together? Like, we're losing weight, exercising, but drinking wine, whatever. But you know, because of COVID restrictions, there was obviously things that were different. So we had a little froze in the beginning, and then we walked around the grounds, which I've been to before because I've been to the safari tour, wine tour before. So I knew a little bit of the info, but our tour guide, he had that dry sense of humor, which normally I don't really love, but for some reason I really liked him, and he was really nice, and we talked, and I was asking a billion questions. So the girls I was with was like, dang girl, you really a journalist, huh? You just asking all the questions. You got all the questions, huh? I was like, I do have all the questions. I need to know, like, is the cow aggressive? Is the zebra small? Like, he was telling us it was an African zebra. Like, he was telling us all these things. And so I'm just asking him, I'm like, well, you know, do they how long did the giraffes live? And how long does this happen? And how, like, so they were all making fun of me that I was asking too many damn questions, but I was like, Oh well. Like, this is what
I
you
need to
get.
know.
I
I
need
never
to
knew
know.
they had a hikes part to that. I knew the safari piece, but I never knew the hike piece. So that's fun. That's something
Yeah, I
different.
think it was new. It was different, and they also have like instead of the wine tours now with like the jeeps, they have those like
Mm-hmm.
electric scooters that you can also rent. So and do the
Oh.
tours that way. So yeah, I mean, so those were kind of like the fun highlights. This weekend was really exhausting because I was just up all day. I was like working out at 5 in the morning on Friday, working out at 10 a.m. on Saturday. They did the hike at 1 o'clock. So I was just, and it was
Yeah.
like Malibu, Santa Monica. Like, I mean, I was literally everywhere on Saturday. Like, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
exhausted. But anyways, that was my week in a nutshell. And let's jump back into the hot topics, you guys. Let's jump
Yes.
back into the BCC Black Excellence Highlight Spotlight, boo.
Black, 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 black on black, black, my thoughts so black, black, black on black, my skin is so black, I'm rocking that black on black is black.
Okay. We have new music. Y'all, now this is a throwback, okay? I had to do my research when I did this because somebody told me about this. I was on a phone call and she was like, "Oh, girl, these two people have new music." I was like, "New music? What?
Who? Right.
Who is this?" So Shaggy, you know, wasn't me. Didn't catch me on camera. Wasn't me. On the power. Wasn't me. Okay. So he has a new music. In fact, he has a new Christmas album and a new single called Banana. So you guys can definitely go check that
All
out.
right.
The entire Christmas album. There's one song that he has featured with Neo. And it's called like the Jamaican Christmas. I think that's like the title of the song.
Yeah.
And it has the entire album has an island vibe to Christmas
Here
songs.
for it.
So if you're tired of hearing the
Love
slow
it.
jams, honey, turn this one on because it will have you bumping and grinding and winding. That's what they do, right? Dirty wine. Dirty wine. Okay.
Wine, yes.
The other person that has new music is Sean Paul. We haven't heard from this man in a little minute. Okay. He was on the charts, like Temperature and what was the other, some other music
he comes back and forth because I think even a few years he had something like, oh, well, I mean, Like Glue is really what people know him for. Temperature is it, like all that kind of stuff. Like Sean Paul.
What was that other? There was that other one, and I just cannot remember.
Like Glue. I don't really care what people say. I don't really watch what them do.
It was one with the music video, and the girl was like winding, and she had those like striped rainbow shorts on.
Yes. That was so. I'm still in love with you, boy. I'm still in love.
With you.
Love that. Everyone wanted to be that girl. Like she was just feeling it over in her corner.
She got that Tiana Taylor vibe with the dance moves. Okay, yes. So yeah, he has a new music, a new single called "Hot" featuring Pia Mia and Flo Milli. So I listened to it. Definitely again.
Flo Milli doing her stuff.
Flo Milli, she be out here. And then Kelly Rowland also has a new song called "Hitman." And all of these artists have that island Caribbean vibe to all of their songs and all of their music. So if you guys are looking to get some sun in this rainy, cold weather type of situation, y'all just put your headphones in because Sean Paul, Shaggy, and Kelly
clear.
Rowland,
Caribbean music making a comeback here for it. I think everyone took notice of how well Afro beats is doing, and I love some Afro beats, and I think that's why people are more so. Okay, let me get some beat in my thing. Let me get a little reggae mixed with my stuff. Like I think that's what's happening.
I mean, Shaggy and Sean Paul, I feel like always had that vibe.
Oh, I mean,
that's their thing.
Yes,
Jamaican and like Caribbean, that's their vibe. I would say Kelly Rowland is low key on the late freight because I feel like the Afro beats and the Caribbean beats have been around for. I would say at least 3 years now. I mean, obviously way before that, but I'm saying like in popular culture. Like with Drake
Afrobeat,
and they kind of like started doing, Blim with Drake and the other songs where you started really hearing like a lot of Afro.
Even Ed Sheeran.
And then, Beyonce, we just talked about Beyonce and Black is King. So, I feel like those Afro beats have really been prominent and we love to see it, okay? Because the Caribbean and the Latin and we love to hear a little different some. And we
give us a little spice. So I'm ready for it. I need to hear Kelly Rowland's as well.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm a fan yet. I think I need to hear it a couple more times. Sometimes it grows on you.
Yeah.
I listen to it. I was like,
I hate songs like that. There are songs that definitely will grow, but I'm like, wasn't a good song if it needed to grow on me.
Listen.
I don't know yet.
Listen. The other thing was that Megan Thee Stallion dropped her new album called good news.
Good news.
Now listen, the visuals on this music video, like, Akila, what is up with production right now in COVID-19? Like, what the hell is going on? Because the visuals are insane.
They stepped it up. They said, when I got nothing else to do, I'm gonna give you some fire, okay? And I think, I mean, honestly, I'm still getting over WAP. Like, she was in WAP, obviously did her thing there.
I'm still getting over WAP,
they were amazing. I'm still getting over it. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out this fountain and the entrance, let alone what's going on in all of these rooms.
With you.
So disclaimer, I still need to watch this video. I told Ebony
saw
that.
Right? You saw
but I think I saw the clips. Body, yada, yada, yada,
right. I mean, and the thing is, like,
and I listened to the entire album.
Okay, so there you go. Okay, so tell us what you thought about the album.
I didn't like it, to be honest. I don't know. I went in with some, like, I love Meg Thee Stallion, like H-Town Hot, all for Tina Snell, all the above. So let's comment there. But so I do love her. But at the same time, I was kind of like, again, is this another, like, you know, she's like the single city girl. You know what I mean? City girls got their own little thing going on, their own little, like, I don't know what to call it, like a ratchet trick rap type of thing. And I'm like, I don't really vibe with that being the MO every single time. But if that's your niche and that's what you want to run with, fine. And I feel like with Meg Thee Stallion, I feel like she could be more than that in a sense. Not to say that that's like, okay, that's bottom of the gutter rap, but I think she has a potential to be more than that. And I feel like she's
but
really,
like, in what way? Because
staying in this.
I think it's interesting because when I was on my hike, one of the girls brought up the idea of, like, I really like Meg, but I would like to hear something different, a different beat, a different cadence, a little something different from her, right? And one of the other girls was like, well, she's kind of still a new artist, so, like, you know, she can't change it up just yet. You know, Beyonce stayed with Destiny's Child for a little minute before she broke off into her own, and then broke off again to like do her own you know, like Blow, right? When she had her self-titled album, Beyonce. Like, it took a minute to transition.
It takes a while. And I think that's one side of the spectrum. Like, yes, it's gonna take a while for you to, like, you know, Nicki Minaj didn't come out the gate doing pop songs, Starships, all that kind of stuff. She was, you know, itty bitty piggy for a while. I get that. But even with that, and even with, you know, those with itty bitty piggy is still my jam. But like, even with that, it's like, even with your songs, there's potential, there's a possibility to talk about something else. And that's more what I mean. It's not necessarily that her cadence is to change or her flow, even though there could be there's some truth to that. But I don't think every single song, I was exhausted. Every single song. And I'm all for the female liberation.
Honey.
I was exhausted. I told you I'm going back to New York, so we try to practice right now.
Not exhausted, honey. Oh my God, not exhausted.
I was like, if I gotta hear another time about you tricking some man for some coats and some shoes, and he got to do this. And listen, I feel like guys been talking about girls in this type of capacity.
That's literally my question. That was literally about to be my question. I said, girl, are you telling Offset and Future? Are you telling Offset and Future to change up what they're talking about? Because they talk about the same shit every time.
And that's why I would, anytime someone says that they shouldn't be talking about this period, I'm like, no, they could and they should, and I'm glad they are. But I don't think that's all she should be talking about on her entire album. Because even if all these people are only talking about, oh, I get the bitches, I get the hoes, they're also talking about money. They're also talking about their lifestyle. They're also talking about this and that. And I feel like I was like, girl, I'm waiting for you to talk about something else. Because if it wasn't that, it was the beginning with Shots Fired, where she talked about Tory and that whole thing, which I'm like, okay, you know, I respect it that you need to put it in the song. It's fine. But I'm like, there's something else missing here that makes me not think of you just as another, oh, I'm looking for an 8-figure guy type of rapper, when I'm like, no, she can really rap. I really like her strength. I like her vibe. I like her attitude. And
so
I'm
what
like,
other topics?
Step into that. So I want her to step into it.
So this is we're let's put it out there. Let's shoot our shot, girl. What topics do you want Megan Thee Stallion to be rapping about? Let me know. Let's put it out there.
I want her to rap about the fact that she's making money outside of these guys. Like, yes, you're making money for these guys, but if you want to talk about money and doing your thing and having your business, give me a little 444 action. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you may not be at Jay-Z's level at the moment, but like talk about, but Jay-Z was talking about this type of stuff from the Blueprint. He was talking about this kind of stuff from, you know, like whatever. It's from so long ago. So I'm like, he can, like you, or reasonable doubt, whatever you want to say. Like, I think this is the same sense where if you starting out the game thinking that you are just another, oh, the only way I can get on top, of the only way people are going to like me, the only way that people are going to really hear what I'm saying and buy what I'm listening to, if I do choruses like yada yada, or if I do things where I'm like, yes, I just want your coat. I just want you to get me a coat. I want you to do this and that for me. I can do it for myself, but I want it from you. And I'm like, it doesn't.
Okay, so
and
we
maybe
want,
I'm just probably not her.
So
audience.
we want money. We want money.
Her to talk about getting your money. I want you to talk about some real stuff, like you losing your mom. If you feel comfortable doing that, talk about some real stuff. Talk about the pain of doing that. Talk about you being in school. If you want to talk about school and you doing your whole public health stuff, talk about that. You want to talk about just being a female rapper in the game and who's trying to make her mark, like do that. Like talk about your experiences outside of what you think other people.
So would you say Mulatto?
I bet it's not just getting money from these dudes. I bet you buying a lot of this stuff yourself. So stop. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm kind of just like, I don't want that to be the only thing that defines
the only topic. So do you think Mulatto kind of gives,
think other people need to talk about?
Do you think Mulatto gives more of that variety?
Mulatto I like because of that. And it's not to say like, that's what you need to be about. I'm not asking you to be Rhapsody. Like, she's in her own lane. Like, and right. I think she's doing it for her. But I think Mulatto that's a good comparison, because I think she gives that blend where she's not talking about, I'm doing this, I'm getting these guys to do this.
But it's like a line, it's like a bar or two, 3 bars.
But there's like, or even if it's a whole song, give me 2, 3, that's fine. But her whole album wasn't about that. And I think that's what made people like look to her a little differently that they would to Meg Thee Stallion, because her features were dope. What did you think about it? I'm talking about what I thought, but what did you think about Meg Thee Stallion, et cetera?
There were some songs that I liked. I liked the music video. I thought the visuals were bomb, and like the lighting was great. She looks great. Her outfits are great. Butt was fine. Like, her ass was out for sure. I like the fact that she had, Jordan Woods, Black China, Taraji P. Henson in the music video. She had a lot of like different Bernice, that Instagram model who had her little thing with T.I. Anyways, was in the video, and I liked it all. Like, I was here for it all. I listened to some of the music, some of the album. I was listening to it in the car, but we were all also like on our way to the hike. We were all also talking, so I didn't really. I heard some of it, but not fully all of what she was talking about. I liked the feature with City Girls. So I think like the beats were great. I'd have to go back and really, listen to the lyrics. But I mean, I do agree. I think she does talk a lot about, sex and body and tricking and whatever. I feel like to each their own. I feel like, maybe we'll see a little bit more. Maybe, we'll get a different vibe from her, or maybe this is just her bag. Like, maybe we could just
maybe that's her bag
for her bag. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that just is what it is. All the guy rappers, it's like we're not really telling them to.
But when she's on her features, when she's on other features, like I hear that variety, and she kills it every time. And so that's why I was shocked. It was more so a shock.
But you know what? That's Nicki Minaj too. But wait, that's Nicki Minaj too, right? Because she was killing it on all the features. She was on 1,010 features, Monster, and this is this, right? Killing it. And then she came out with Pink Friday.
And wait. I was about to say, I know you're not about to finish that sentence. I'm a Barbie Lolo, so I'm saying, no way.
Be a Barbie bee. But I'm saying that it wasn't what the expectation was of what a Nicki Minaj album was gonna be, because it was very pop, like super bass. And then like, I like the song. Now listen, I'm not dissing Nicki Minaj, but I'm just saying like her features were hardcore rap, and her
was though. It wasn't. Though. I'm like, her whole album was literally like, there was a mixture of pop for sure. There was a mixture of like, let's carry the stuff in the charts. But there was so much. Oh my! Did you disappear on me? Did you disappear when I'm talking about Nicki?
I disappeared. I'm coming back. I disappeared. Yeah, look, you're going in on me.
She definitely killed it. She was like, I gotta just retreat into the bushes real quick.
Okay, like, retreat into the bushes.
There was that thing going on. No, I mean, it is what it is, because I do think it kind of, for me, if you think about it, even Nicki, we could say, even though I feel like Nicki is truly in a league of her own, like when it comes to comparisons to some of the newer up and coming rappers, let's compare it to like a Cardi, who is more recent and still starting her thing in the game, not even starting, but found her footing, but it's still recent enough. Where Cardi, she was, was she featured on a couple of things? Maybe, but her album was so monumental. Like, Invasion of Privacy was such a good album to me. Like, I thought it made that, it got that balance to me where it was
that's what I'm saying.
It was
She
talking
had
about
balance,
getting money bags. It was talking about all that kind of stuff, but it was also like you could hear her grind.
Yeah, no, because she also talked about
whatever,
cheating on Quavo, or Quavo cheating on her. But anyways, anyway, Megan.
Anyways, it is what it is. Good news, right?
Good news, girl. Go on and get your bag.
But I want the longevity. I want the longevity, and I think that's the key to it. Where if you just provide more variety in your raps, I feel like you got it in the bag. So
I feel it. The next thing that I would like to also highlight, it's this new TV show, millennial talk show called The Mix, which is on Fox Soul. It is created by Tamika Tiny Harris. The hosts are her daughters, Zanique, Romeo Miller, Anton Peoples, Jamie DeBose, and Jazz Anderson. Jazz Anderson is Tammy's daughter, the one on Love and
former Basketball Wives.
Thank you, Basketball Wives. Why am I'm thinking Love and Basketball? Yeah. Well, I'm also okay. On Basketball Wives, Tammy, that's her mom. Jill King is the executive producer and showrunner who also worked on Rachel Ray, The Real, Steve Harvey, and The Red Table Talk. So and that premieres, or it airs on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern time and 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I think that this show they're excited because it kind of talks about those hot topics, but from a younger lens. You know, it's not having older people give their opinions on millennial topics or young topics
and on whatever,
on like memes and like what's happening.
I think it's kind of like with Keke Palmer, how she had her show that one time on BET. It's going to remind me of that. I feel like it's going to remind me of that. And I think it's just in general, I feel like it's good to have a lot of different content. I feel like Fox Soul is trying to really grab that Black audience from all the angles. So they're ready to put as much content as they can on it, and which I'm here for.
Yeah, they have that show with Lisa Ray and Claudia and,
Claudia.
Yeah, so they definitely are creating that Black content for sure. And so I'm happy to see it. We're always here to see Black melanated content. So anyways, moving on to Gotta Be Entertained, boo. Go ahead and tell us what we gotta be entertained with this week, or what we need to be looking for.
There's so much content, honestly. The first one, let's start off with His House. His House is gonna be on Netflix. It is, I'll read the logline. A young refugee couple makes a harrowing escape from war-torn South Sudan, but then they struggle to adjust to their new life in a small English town that has an evil lurking beneath the surface. Katie Burt is a full-time pop culture writer who serves as a staff editor at Dean of Geek. So some great Black leading actors and actresses are going to be on this show, or it's a movie or a show.
It's a
Sounds
show.
like it potentially is a movie. It's a show?
It's a show, and it's already on Netflix. And the great thing is it's that the actress, the one was in Lovecraft Country, our favorite show. Our favorite show. The sister Ruby.
Into it.
The sister Ruby. She is
One Me.
Yes, she is what's her name? How do you pronounce it?
One Me Masaku. I think it's One Me Masaku. I feel like that's how you pronounce it. So WNMI.
Yes. See, thank you. I don't want to have to say it wrong. But she also plays in this series. And so I'm very excited to watch it. In fact, this is already on my list. It's been on my list for a little second. Oh, okay. I just wanted to double check and look it up. It is a movie. It is 1 hour and 33 minutes. Yes. And it's on Netflix now. So you guys can definitely go check that out. And I'm really excited to get into it and watch this movie because leading Black actresses.
It's going to be so good. Yeah. We also have Giving Voices. So Giving Voices is a documentary that'll follow students in the annual August Wilson monologue competition. And if you don't know August Wilson, he's the writer of Fences, of Mo Rainey, I believe is another one that he did, and just an all-around prolific writer. And it's going to be executive produced by Viola Davis and John Legend. So that Super one is coming out right around the corner, December 11th. So, And then the other one we have, just keep the list going. The other list we have too, and that's Netflix. So, the first two, definitely Netflix. The next one is coming out in February. Malcolm and Marie. And this one has Zendaya in it, our girl Zendaya, with John David Washington. And this one is about a filmmaker. Yes, a filmmaker, this one called Washington, and his girlfriend Zendaya, played by Zendaya, return home following celebratory movie premiere as he awaits what's sure to be imminent, critical, and financial success. But the evening suddenly takes a turn as revelations about their relationship begin to surface, testing the strength of their love. This is coming right before Valentine's Day, February 5th. So, you know, they planned that out, but I'm glad to see Zendaya in more work, and I'm glad to see John David Washington, to see what he's all about. And I think I feel like these are stories that are kind of elevating her beyond Disney Channel. So
yeah, and I'm so excited to see her really branch out. I don't know if they heard it's going to be called Malcolm and Marie. I don't know if the internet was going in and out when you said the title.
Yes.
But just to say that again, Malcolm and Marie, February 5th. Okay. Next title.
Yes. Okay. 2 more for you guys. The first one, or one of the last 2, called Dance Dreams. Hot Chocolate Nutcracker, I believe, is that the name of it? But yes. What's so interesting about it is 2 things. One, this is something that's going to be brought out by Shondaland. So we've heard about a bunch of stuff with Shonda Rhimes doing stuff for Netflix, her exclusive deal. And we obviously, Shonda Rhimes, that whole deal kind of being brought back into the surface a few months ago with the whole why she actually left ABC potential. So seeing this is coming out November 27th. So literally a few days from now. And it's about, wow, and now I'm blanking on her name. So it's about Debbie Allen. Debbie Allen. I was like, how can I forget the main dance queen? Debbie Allen and her dance academy. That's how we hear. and just really going into the world of dance. I mean, who doesn't love, if you even watch Dance Moms in the past, et cetera, like this is kind of just another way to view it from the Black lens.
It's the Black lens. We always love to see that. And we love to see the Nutcracker. Mm-hmm. Like I know my parents have taken me to the play, the Nutcracker, the chocolate Nutcracker, so many times growing up as a child. And so I love plays and I love theater. So I'm very excited to see this come to screen in our own homes, obviously now that we can't experience plays because of COVID. So I'm really excited to see this series and this special on November 27th.
Yes. We're so excited. And we know what else we're excited about? Our last but not least, Coming to America. And they put the 2 in the middle of Coming in America because it's the sequel to the hit movie Coming to America that literally like solidified Eddie Murphy's just stake in Hollywood. Such a classic film. And so excited that Amazon Prime is actually the one that's bringing it back to focus with the second movie in March 2021. So we'll be leading up to it as March happens. I'm sure there'll be more announcements. I'm sure there'll be more details that we'll share with you guys, but just keep it on your radar because they finally announced it to the world. It's always been something in the buzzing around, but they officially made their press release. And so we had to share with you, but a lot of good stuff, a lot of good movies,
a lot of exciting things to watch during this cozy Christmas time. I know we're obviously going to be spending so much time in the house and hopefully near and close to family.
Yes.
So this is like great family content that we can all share in and watch and listen to. And we also want to thank you and appreciate you guys for listening to us for the past hour. Talk about our 2 cents.
We always do this.
Girl. There's just always so many things to talk about. We always obviously have to give you guys our opinions because what would be a podcast without a little bit of opinion, some education and opinion, like we got to mix it in. But we just want to thank you guys so much. Don't forget to follow your favorite podcast, at the Black Creators Club. Email us with any inquiries at theblackcreatorsclub@gmail.com. And Akilah, where can we find you on Instagram, girl?
Hey, you guys can find me at Akilah Friend, just my name, no space, no periods, no anything, at Akilah Friend. Where can they find you, Ebony?
Yeah, well, wait, hold on, girl. Where else can we find Pop Goes the Business and your A-list videos? Like, wait.
You're right.
Where else can we find you?
That's why you need this. Well, I mean, yes, you can find me on Instagram again at Akilah Friends. I have my new YouTube series, Pop Goes the Business, talking about pop culture, reality TV, and the business underlying it all. So find me on YouTube. Again, it's at Akilah Friends. It's just my name, or you can search Pop Goes the Business, find the latest 2 episodes there. So doing that and everything I do with the A-list, with recommending movies, with chatting with Black folks, doing their thing, it's all on my Instagram. What about you, Ebony? Where can they find you and your project?
Perfect, girl. Yeah, you thought she was about to get away with that. No, girl, we need to know it all. We like to be in your business. We nosy around here.
Yes.
You can find me on Instagram and on Twitter at Ebony Chapman 12. And you can also find my Millennial Visionary series on my Instagram as well, where I chat with Black entrepreneurs and Black business owners and talk about their struggle and the things that they've been through. So yeah, that again is at Ebony Chapman 12. And you guys, we will see you guys again next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you next week.